you have all the power to make the best life for yourself. And in our episode of Drop the Stones, we're talking about reprogramming your subconscious, your mind, and just how that will improve your life and how it will make you happier and experience more and get more out of every day and every moment of your life. And what does that look like, this reprogramming? Because what's happening is when we operate, we have our conscious and subconscious mind. Our conscious can only deal with so much. It's our concentrated efforts to change what's going on in our environment at the moment. And most of what's happening in our lives is in our subconscious. Of the 100% of things we see, most of that, 90+% of it, is being dealt with in the subconscious and registered in there. And we're only dealing with a small percentage of what we're doing. And so when that's going on, we have these automatic operating systems that are pushing us forward. And the first step in reprogramming is understanding that you're under a different program and what that looks like, and then taking efforts to change it. So an example is, Candy and I would be, one of the early ones we were on was, why do we feel guilt and shame when people don't seem to like us or appreciate us, or we don't agree with them, or they don't agree with us? The people pleasing aspect of life. And just having that, just not the greatest feeling in the world when that came up of, why is this going on? Why do I feel like this? I don't want to be a people pleaser anymore. And it was realizing that was old programming that I was told to always constantly obey, fall in line, conform to the leadership and the group, to fit into that group. And to understand that and look and see that I personally wanted to make sure that I could be unique, I could be authentic, and then stepping out and reprogramming what was going into my subconscious to react more in the lines of, be authentic. Don't be affected. Don't worry about the shame or the guilt or the insecurities that come with being authentic. And it was consciously working that into my mind and putting that in. So it's kind of like if you had a cup full of, let's say you had a cup full of real thick mud and you wanted to make it into a cup of water. What you're doing is actually just pouring water and more water and just keeping that water pouring into that cup. And eventually that cup becomes mud, from being dirt because it's mixed. And then you keep pouring more water into it, and eventually some of that muddy water starts pouring out and diluting the mud in there, and keeps diluting it until eventually all that's left in there is water. And you've reprogrammed that part. You've switched from dirt and mud to clean water in a cup just by constantly and focusing on putting new stuff into that cup. So when you have that image of, this is what reprogramming is, it's not a quick fix. It's not just sitting here saying, oh, I don't want to be a people pleaser, and all right, I'm not a people pleaser anymore. No, it's constantly pouring more of that idea of, this is what I want to be, this is where I want to go, this is how I want to operate my program. And eventually, over time, and constantly focusing on this, you get that new programming into you. And that's what meditation and just devotionals or hypnotherapy can help you do, is push and push and push that clean water and move that dirty stuff out. And the thing that we also notice too is that as you keep going through life, you keep recognizing new deep-seated programs in yourself. It's never an ending thing. You've had all these things in there. And I think miraculously in our lives, we don't have to deal with all the programming at once, because that'd just be overwhelming. So little things pop up. And this happens with Candy and I all the time, where something pops up and I don't know what's going on. Why am I doing this? And the other of us will say to the other, you had old programming working there. You see, this is what we used to think. This is what we were told to do. This is how we were told to operate. We got to start working on this aspect of things to make it more of what we want to control and how we want to do it. So you're just wrestling slowly and surely each section of your brain to kind of push it all into the way that you want to do it. And it's a constant going thing, but it's not an overwhelming or daunting task. It's kind of enjoyable to see, hey, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I've been like this. This doesn't have to be who I am. This is what I was told I had to be in my old systems, my old programs. And now I can take control and manipulate and control it into the way that I want it to be. So it's kind of empowering and strengthening in personal belief to say, this is me. I have control all over this, because we truly do all have the power on how we experience our day to day.